Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last few videos, we understood the basic code for Hello World in Solidity. Then we looked into how we can override that text and write something of our choice. Then we looked into basics of smart contract, and now we'll be looking into getter and setter functions, which are basically used to get and set values of variables. So you can see in the code, this is our smart contract getter setter. Then we have two variables, uint 256, and both are public. So one is my uint and the other one is my other uint, right? So imagine when you have to just set the value of one integer. Let me tell you first that both of these integers have the base value of 0. So if you haven't set anything for them, the value would be 0. So let's have a first function. That function shows function set my uint underscore of my uint public, and here we set my uint, that was an initial variable, equals to a new variable that is underscore my uint, that is a new value that we want to set for the variable, right? But this is the only way that we can set the value for only one variable. What if we want to set values for two variables instead? So using the same function, what we do is just pass in the other parameter as well. So earlier we were just passing uint underscore my uint. So now we'll be adding a comma here and we'll be adding this uint underscore of my uint as well in the parameters. So now we can change or assign the value to my other uint as well in the function as we have done here, right? So now we know how we can set the values of these two variables, but how we can get the values of these two variables, that is, what are the values of these two variables if we want to get it. So for that, the value is simple. The function is almost the same. Just you need to make sure that when you want some assignment in the function, it is declared some different type. But when you want to get the information from you want to have a function that returns something in return, you have to change the function syntax a bit. So there is a basic difference is that this function goes same for set as well as for get function. Then we give the name of the function, that is get both values. Then we make it view. Then we add a keyword, that is view, right? So public, then view, and what type does it returns, what data type does it returns. So returns uint comma uint because it's returning two values, right? Next, when we go into the function, we want to know what kind of values, what values this function would return. So we simply write it that it would return my uint and my other uint, right? Those are very basic simple codes. Now it's time that we run them and compile them first. So we go here, we compile the getter setter sol, it's compiled. Next we go here to deploy it. So there are no current transactions being recorded here. So this will be our first one. So let's just deploy. Make sure that the contract that you want to deploy is well selected here. So we're going to just deploy it here. It's been deployed. Let's test it now. So set both values. So let's set the values. Or maybe let me just set the value for any one. So let me set the value of my uint first. So I am setting its value to 5, right? So let's get the value now. My uint is 0. My other uint is also 0. Because I haven't clicked here, that means its initial value is 0. Now I've entered 5 here. Let me just set my uint, because unless and until we don't call it, it won't set the value. Now the value set, let me just click it again and you see the value is 5, right? Now let's set values for both my uint and my other uint variables. I'll call it 10 and 11 maybe. Right, so let's call this as well. And now I'll call both values. So the values would be 10 and 11. And here you can also see the values have changed. So that's it for this small tutorial. I hope you enjoy this. If you have any doubts, reach out in the comments or on our official Twitter handle. Thank you.